going to talk about bore condition and bore restoration or treating a bore on a gun that might be less than perfect. You know, as we know, a lot of surplus guns, they've been around 100, 80, 90 years, 70 years, and they used to use corrosive ammo. Basically what corrosive ammo is the old priming compound to make it reliable. Was chemically made up that deposits a salt residue on the inside of the bore. And this, in a span of like 3 days, will corrode a bore and rust it. Something terrible. The two ways around it is you could either buy a corrosive bore cleaner or a black powder bore cleaner. And the key is, all you have to do is wash the bore out with water or a water-based solvent or cleaner. And that will neutralize the corrosive salts in the bore. It's not that difficult, it's pretty simple. You can even just get a can or pail or something with warm water, take the rifle, dip it down in there into the water like this high, and just run a cleaning rod with a cloth patch and just flush the bore out with a little bit of water, and your problems will be solved. I have two rifles here that specifically the bores are less than perfect. This I just purchased today, an Italian Carcano rifle. As you can see, there's the bayonet's missing, it's rusted on the outside. Not too bad, and the bore is rusted from corrosive priming, and plus it's got a section in there that's pitted real bad. I picked this up more or less for a parts gun, or to restore it, try to get it back. I'm going to shoot it, see what it does, how bad the damage is, because you can be surprised. Usually when you collect guns, you try to get them in the best condition you can, but that always has nowadays especially, the dealers and collectors know it carries a very high premium, and it's difficult to find some of these older guns with a perfect bore, not worn, mint, mint condition. Very, very difficult, and you're going to pay a lot of money. You might luck out and find someone who doesn't know what they have and can get the gun at a reasonable price, but if you go to the gun shows or a dealer, they're gonna want some cash. So we have this one here, and also I have, which I picked up on an online auction, is a M95 Steyr carbine that has been re-arsenaled in beautiful condition. I got it real cheap. I think I got it for like a $100 bid. But then when I received the rifle, the bore was, somebody fired corrosive ammo and didn't clean it, and the bore looked like, you'd shine a light down there and it was sucking the light up, it was still dark. But we'll go over real quick what to do and what you can do to see, even though the bore is less than perfect, we can get some accuracy out of these guns, at least enjoy shooting them. So I'm not going to really zoom in on this, but I'll pick up, and we'll use a Carcano. This one is in bad shape, so I'm going to go over what you kind of do preliminary like, and we'll take it from there. First step is, we know we fired corrosive ammo in here and didn't clean it, so this is how the corrosive bore cleaner looks when you buy it at a gun show. I just poured a bunch of them little cans in here. And it's just a water-based solvent. It's black, nasty, smelly. Gets on your hands. Get some on a brush. And then just, and it's got a rough spot in there. Run it up and down the bore a few times. And just as a general precaution, just get corrosive bore cleaner in there, so if there's anything left, you're neutralizing it before you even start and go any further. I'm going to scrub this a few times. Just scrub it about 4 or 5 times. I can show you that. Alright, after we've scrubbed the bore a little with a bronze brush with a corrosive bore cleaner, we're going to run a patch down in there. and wipe all of this preliminary stuff out. As you see up, somebody fired that, never cleaned it well, or cleaned it at all. So, and there's rust coming through. So you run a few patches down there and clean the bore out somewhat. Just basic. Alright. Now we know there's rust in there, so we take, this is penetrating oil or rust breaker, and we get it down in there, spray some in there, into the bore. This is, and it's running out the back. Flip it over, and we're going to let that set and let that rust penetrating oil do its thing. Now this this rifle here, M95, I had the same problem, and I did these steps with it, scrubbed it, cleaned it, and I took it out and I fired it. Now, even with the pitting and everything, this is a target at 50 yards. My 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, one must have flew high, but you see that at 50 yards, the basic spread there. With my hand-loaded ammo, which I found works better, this target here had a pretty good grouping for it, right there. Now that ain't too bad, considering that the rifle's got a dark bore with some light pitting in it. And at 100 yards, you know, you had to adjust the point of aim. At 100 yards, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots, kind of all right. And that was with my hand-loaded ammo, which is pretty accurate. And then I believe this is the factory ammo. She was shooting a bit high, and I tried to adjust for it. Plus, I didn't have a good, and this is at 100 yards also, there's one. So we got a spread of bullets there. So actually, not too bad for a gun with a very dark bore. We haven't worked with it yet. I haven't slugged the barrel to find out how much wear was on this or anything, but that's what the results were with this. So it's not terrible. It's, you know, I'd like it better, but I can work on it. I'm going to work on it a little at a time. All right, now that we've let this set for a few minutes here in the Carcano, we go back to the bronze brush, and we're going to scrub it again, and then wipe it out. Let's see what we got. Okay, penetrating. Now this here will work on the rust. This chemically kind of breaks the rust up. Nah. Yeah, there's a bad spot in there. There's a spot of corrosion in there. I've seen it. It may be a problem. See, the other rifle doesn't have a bad corrosion spot in there. I don't know how well that, or how bad that'll affect the accuracy of the gun. And then once you get that scrubbed, again run a patch down, wipe it out, and then we're going to take a look at the bore and see basically our initial, you know, we'll assess the damage. I'll just hold that up to the light now. Okay, we put the rust penetrating oil in, scrubbed it, wiped it out, and actually this is really strange. The bore appears to be fairly good, except about right down here there's a, I'd guesstimate, a half-inch section of deep pitting and corrosion. Truthfully, it's not, you know, the damage is not terrible enough to where I don't believe it's unshootable, And like when I had a kind of a real rough bore there, when I fired a few rounds through it, it actually cleaned the bore up. You want to be careful and make sure your damage isn't too bad that it will stop the bullet. But I believe if we fire a few rounds through here, we'll get some of that corrosion out and pitting. And basically that's what you do. You know, you kind of inspect it. And then I'm going to go fire a few rounds and see if that kind of helps it all out. If you're really rusted real bad, you can spray this penetrating oil in the gun, lie it down so the oil like sets in the barrel, and then, you know, leave it a day or two. You can flip it around, make sure the oil kind of, you know, every half a day, and then scrub it. That's what I did basically with the M95. I let the penetrating oil sit in there for actually 2 days, try to get that. Well, actually, this ain't too bad. This might shoot well. I don't know if that little bit of pitting will hurt. But that's how you kind of condition it to see where you're at. And other than that, there's basically not much more else you can do. The only other thing you could do, which I don't recommend, is try to use a rust remover if you got some real bad pitting. These guns kind of don't warrant that at this point, because actually there's some shine to this rifling. It's pretty amazing. But the M95 is dark. And if I find a good way to get that black darkness out of a bore, I'll kind of add that to this video and go over that. But that's about it for cleaning them up and getting the bores in a good shape. Well, we have a gun here that has a rusted bore. This is the Japanese Type 38 that I was doing a restoration video on. This gun's in pretty bad shape. It's even worse off than the Carcano bore-wise. And it's dark and it's rusted. So, because this gun is already pretty damaged, I'm going to try and experiment with something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to wipe some of this Birchwood Casey Blue and Rust remover down there to see if that will loosen it up. Now, if you're going to do this, be very careful, because this stuff does, you just drop it on the finish, it will take the bluing right off the gun. We don't want to do that. The bluing or the finish is kind of in good shape. So we did the, scraping, scrubbing, oil in the bore. You have to degrease it. So what we do is we take carburetor cleaner, give it a shot down into the chamber, and let that run down through the barrel. And it all drips out. Again, do this in the basement because all this crap's dripping right out on the floor. And let that kind of set till it dries up. And that'll degrease it. That'll get it degreased. And the game plan is, I'll let that run a little bit. The game plan is, I want to plug the end of this bore with a patch, because I don't want the fluid to come out and take the blue off the crown of the rifle. So I'm going to plug a patch in here, and then I'm going to take a patch going this way through the receiver, because if any of it drips, you can see there's really no bluing here anywhere, and it's all inside. So if any of the bluing and rust remover drips, it'll drip on a part that isn't blued. And then I'll try to swab that into the bore, and we got to let that sit for a few minutes, and then we'll see if that helps us clean the crud out. So there's some wait time in between this, so I'll get back to you when we're ready to do it. Okay, so the carburetor cleaner degreased it. So I'm going to take a section of patch, and with a small punch, just plug the end of this barrel up, or try to. Because I don't want the fluid to run out on the end of the muzzle. Get it in there snug, leave a little in there so we can pull it out. Now we set the gun down. Like I said, want to lay it this way so if this drips, it doesn't get in any of the blue. Saturate our patch. This wonderful stuff. And then just feed it in. Still all black and cruddy. I'll get another one. Run another one in there. And then you let this set for about 2 minutes. We'll get some more down in there. That's it. All the way down. Okay, now we gotta let that set for about 2 minutes, and we'll see what we end up with here. All right, it's been sitting there about 2 minutes. So now they say it's kind of loose, so we're going to try to run a brush down in there with the rust remover on it to kind of loosen up anything in there. A little more on there. Now the instructions say you can polish this with steel wool or rub it, which is kind of hard on the bore. So when we're going to run that brush in there as a polishing thing, and then I think to neutralize this, we're going to have to flush the bore out with water. So what do? Get a coffee can, fill it with water. Get my get a patch on the rod. Place the end of your barrel into the water. I'm going to moisten it out with a little bit of water. Kind of pumping. Oh yeah, look at that. There's all kinds of stuff coming out now in the water. A little bit of pumping in there, the water's turning black. So we've cleaned something out of here. Exactly how good or bad it is, I don't know. And then, if you got any spots with this, get a rag with a little bit of water and kind of run the water in there and neutralize this stuff. Just to be on the safe side. Now, let me take a look at the bore now. It's cleaner. And it shows it ain't really that good. It's worn pretty bad in spots. But that did take out some of the crap. You can try it over and over again. There's still more crud in there. But it shows that this bore is worn pretty bad. Still might be able to shoot it halfway decent. But that's the heavy duty way of getting rid of the rust. I use it on this gun because I'm not quite worried about this gun that much. It's in pretty bad shape. But I'll repeat the process again and see if I can get more of the crud out of there. But it took a lot of that black stuff right out and showed me what that bore really looks like. And you know, then, all right, it's, once you flush down and wash it, basically all you do once you get it clean and done, take WD-40. It dissipates water. And then just spray it down in the barrel, the whole action, the whole gun. Just oil the hell out of it so it won't rust. Because, you know, you open the pores of the metal, you clean the rust out, oil that barrel or spray this WD-40 down in there. And that should keep it from rusting or anything. Make sure you do that. Don't just clean it and leave it, because that may cause a problem. But that cleaned it up pretty good. Okay, any questions, comments? Please feel free to post them. Thank you.